Hello everybody, I'm Adam with Columbia Sales Incorporated, and today I'm going to give you a basic understanding of a regular tip board, how to operate it, and the reason I believe you can raise more money for your charitable organization with a regular tip board. Here I have a regular 120 tip board, very similar to a sure tip board. The name tells us how many tickets are on the board. The serial number at the top of the flare card here must match the 5 large red digits on the ticket. It has the same scratch off label concealing the winning number. It does have sign up lines on the back of the board and a state accepted payout structure printed at the bottom. For the most part, that's where the similarities stop. Regular tip boards use a combination of numbers to determine the winner. You will notice the word tip printed here on the top of the flare card. In order to have a chance to win, you must have a ticket with the tip number printed on it, such as the one I've pulled off here, 105, 109, tip number is 105, correct? So without getting into the details of the formula of how many tips are on a given tip board, I will explain it like this. Basically, the more tickets on the board, the more chances there are to win. I'll try to explain it like this. Let's say you have 4 objects or numbers. Each object is numbered 1 through 4. Of course, we use a 3-digit combination number. For example, 101 through 104. Now pair each object with the other, but never with itself. In the case of a 4-number tip board, using this principle, you will end up with 6 total combinations, or 6 tickets. In the case of a 120 tip board, you'll have a total of 16 numbers, or objects. If you were to pair all the possible combinations together, but never pair a number or an object with itself, you end up with 120 combinations or 120 tickets. That same principle can be used for all of our regular tip boards. Here I have a 153, and the combinations start at 101 and they go to 118 for a total of 153 combinations or 153 tickets. Now, a lot of our regular tip boards don't actually say 153, or in the case of the 120, it doesn't say 120 on the top of the board, but it does always say it on the ticket itself. Let's see if we can read that one okay at 153. This one will read 120 on the ticket. I will go ahead and cover the sign-up lines on the back now to try to alleviate that confusion at this point in time. You will notice the numbers 101 through 116 on this 120 tip board. Anytime a player obtains a ticket with the tip number printed on it, let's see, so the tip number is 105, here's a ticket with the tip number printed on it, 105, and mine happens to be 105, 109. I would go to the back of the board and go to the line 109, and I would sign my name there. Now, because you know we do not pair any number with itself, whatever tip number is printed on the flare card, that sign-up line on the back will never have a name signed on it. In short, even though there are a total of 16 tips or objects, there is only 15 chances to win on this particular 120 regular tip board. So with basically all of our regular tip boards, whatever the total number of combination numbers goes up to, such as a 153 goes up to 118, there's going to be one less chance to win than the total number of tips listed on the sign-ups on the back. So for 153, there would only be 17 chances to win. 190, there would only be 19 chances to win, so on and so forth. So this brings me to the reason I believe you can raise more money for your charitable organization using the example of the 120 regular tip board. We know there are 120 tickets. If each chance is sold for $1 per chance, you bring in a total of $120. We also know there are only 15 chances to win. Once you educate your operators and your players, the idea is that the player will continue to buy tickets until he or she has a ticket with a tip number on it, called a tip or a keeper, a signer, so on and so forth. Right? So this particular ticket does have a tip on it, 105, there it is, 105. So now I have a signer or a keeper. So that player may get lucky and obtain a tip on the first try, or maybe they need to try 5 times, or maybe it's 20. But the point is that once you explain to the player the idea is to buy tickets until they get a tip, you most likely will only need to see no more than 15 or 20 different people to sell all 120 tickets, as opposed to a short tip where, let's say you're working with a 50 short tip. A lot of people will just buy 1 ticket at a time, and you'll have to move on to the next person, and they'll buy 1 ticket, and then you'll move on to the next person, and they'll buy 1 ticket, and next thing you know, you end up having to see 50 different people to sell all 50 tickets on a 50 short tip board. In contrast to a 120 regular tip board, where hopefully your patrons will buy tickets until they get a tip, and you would just have to see less people to sell twice as many tickets. For more information on the products manufactured by Columbia Sales Incorporated, visit our website at columbiasalesinc.com. I hope your charitable gaming event goes well, and remember, take a tip from us.